Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to show kind of my 3 current methods for engine bay detailing, and not so much in the perfection, shiny, used car detailing that you'll see when you go to purchase, or some of these like quick detailers. I'm really just looking for a factory matte finish to clean some of the dirt and grime and grease you'll kind of see built up, especially in a truck like this that has so much exposure to the road and the elements. So I just wanted to show kind of a compare and contrast between a couple different methods that I try out these days. I'm not super happy with each of them in particular, so I'm curious what you guys think, what you guys use. If it's something like a foaming degreaser, citrus here to kind of cut through some of that. This is, I think, a little bit more gentle, meant for more like cloth, seats, upholstery, carpet. Works really well, but just doesn't really seem to get a lot of the dirt and grime, kind of the hard stuff. And then soap and water. This is actually more interior that I'll use as a gentle kind of surface cleaner. This is actually just Tide laundry detergent and water mixture. And then agitation, and then of course a microfiber to dry. So I just want to kind of show here, try to find a good spot to show you guys. This whole area here, you can see it's still kind of dirty up in the corners. This was all the tough stuff, and basically you foam it on, let it sit and kind of eat at it a little bit, agitating with the brush immediately, and then wiping it dry. And again, over here, you can see it still left quite a bit of residue. However, you know, in this area, this got cleaned up pretty well. Yeah, still some surface. This intake kind of snorkel and airbox was mostly the Tide and water. You can see that still left quite a bit behind. So I'm going to hit a couple spots here. We'll start with the degreaser, kind of where this oil accumulation is kind of taking place. We'll do just a little bit, try to stay off those cam sensors there. So we'll just agitate this. You know, again, this is nice. Again, you can really smell the degreaser in here, and you can see, I don't know how well it'll kind of turn up on the camera, but you'll be able to see some of the oil kind of spots that were on the valve cover there just a moment ago. So I'm just doing a localized, kind of like a spot check that you would with kind of any other cleaner, just to see, you know, what the result would be. Again, curious if you guys have a method that you enjoy. I know something like purple, you know, purple power, kind of a spray bottle, you could spray that on there and power wash it off. I'm obviously not opposed to power washing. I think that's probably, I'm probably beating around the bush not doing some of that stuff, honestly, but trying to be gentle, as gentle as possible. You can see I kind of got some of that degreaser, you know, into these, well, they're weather packed, weatherproof, you know, electrical connectors there. So give that a second. I'm going to actually turn the compressor on. All right, so forgive the compressor noise. That's, well, shop background noise at its finest for sure. But as you saw, you know, whether I mute that or not, or whatever. I'll leave the footage in, but we have the ZEP foaming degreaser kind of on the front half of this valve cover, tied in water, just sprayed on the manifold, the intake manifold there. I did try, as you'll probably see, the foaming tough stuff on this kind of rubber dampener, I think is for the fuel rail. Obviously that's a whole different ballgame to get that thing cleaned out. And my can's running a little low, so I did spray it over here and agitate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wipe this dry, get a surface level of that stuff off. And I'm actually going to use the air hose, the nozzle, to kind of spray some of these pieces out, because of course you're never going to get the rag and all these nooks and crannies. But again, just surface wipe. I just want to get the heavier concentrations off. Over here on our fuse box cover, up in the cowl, in the quarter here. So you can see, I mean, when it's damp, it looks pretty good. I mean, finish wise, I mean, this looks okay. We'll see, you know, what it looks like when we actually spray it out. Manifold looks good. Like, all three kind of look pretty consistent. It's just when they dry, you know, then you kind of see how clean they actually got. So we'll see how loud this is, compressor kicks on or not. So obviously a little overkill with all the 120 PSI out of the nozzle, but good way to kind of, like, you know, speed dry it, make sure that I don't have any of those cleaning compounds kind of sitting in spots where I don't want them. Again, kind of a speed dry alternative to something that's more voluminous, like a leaf blower, let's say, to kind of speed dry. So as you can see, again, you know, it might just be a case of letting it sit and kind of eat a little bit more. Tough stuff you can kind of see is leaving residue already. And maybe some of that's really just part of the finish too, you know, over time. Hard to say. It's good to kind of wipe down surface, but it doesn't really seem to, yeah, it could be human error on my part too, not being super patient, but the ZEP looks pretty good. There was an oil kind of staining over here, which was interesting, probably just from some of my funnel dripping, you know, as I'm filling it with oil during changes or whatever. But I'll be impressed if the ZEP kind of gets that off the plastic valve cover there. And then again, you know, keep it simple. Soap and water. Again, laundry detergent maybe is a little bit gentler, so that could be maybe improved, but I don't want, you know, something like a dish soap or something that can cut through grease but might leave kind of a film or residue unless you really cut it, you know, and dilute it with water. So that looks pretty decent. I mean, you can still see a little bit of stuff on there, but obviously compare and contrast, you know, this and of course freshly cleaned versus, you know, this side over here. So again, let me know what you guys do. Degreasers, foaming, non-foaming, power wash, no power wash. You know, again, power washing's fine. I'm obviously in the shop, in the garage right now, so I don't really want to, you know, spray it in here. And obviously I just don't want to push the dirt around with water either. You know, I'd soak it in degreaser and spray it down. But that's really for, you know, in my opinion, that's kind of like a big gun to pull out if you have a lot of, you know, older kind of oil seepages or leaks that are on the block or on the oil pan or around the valve cover. That'll cut through, you know, some of that thick oil kind of film that you'll get with all the grit in it. This isn't quite to that level. So again, just like an engine dressing, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys prefer. I'm sure the community has figured this out, you know, well over time. But again, I'm looking just for clean, you know, not shiny film, Armor All kind of dash looking kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.